to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shelley is absent, everyone is present. Mr. Paschek will be a few minutes late.
Right. Board correspondent report.
All right, so since I missed last month, I went back a few, so there's a couple of items. There's Jeremy.
Oh, wow.
So, first thing happened in July was that the judge in Dane County declared parts of Act 10 unconstitutional. And Act 10 limited the bargaining rights for many public workers, not all public workers, and that was the area that they were focusing on. So, WASB says stay tuned for that, because that could impact school districts. The governor's task force on artificial intelligence and final action plan, I found very interesting to read. Because being out of the school, I don't get it, but AI is really taking things over. Do you guys use this chat GPT? And DALL-E, don't know that one. All this generative AI and machine learning. And then I went to the dentist, and normally they would have two people in there, one taking your numbers. She just dictated it all. So a lot of what was coming out in the report is how do schools now train people looking forward with using AI?
Right.
And then policies coming forth as to what schools are gonna have to do to limit that. So I found that very interesting to read. So what skills are gonna be needed by Wisconsin workers and how will they get those skills? All right, DPI also released their data on the youth risk behavior survey. And a couple of statistics that jumped out at me that I found were interesting is that 59% of the high school students said they have experienced at least one mental health crisis over the last 12 months. And they're also reporting an increase in social media and overall screen usage, as well as decreases in the amount of sleep they get. So good luck in the next school year, because that's going to be an animal you guys are going to have to worry about.
Well, at least they can't use their cell phones during the day.
Here,
Here.
In theory, there's always going to be one that will sneak it through or use their watch. You got to remember there are other devices that they can use,
Good
a
point.
laptop or whatever. All right, then the big thing that I thought might impact, since we have 3 Native American students, is that there's the Legislative Study Committee on Tribal Relations we're going to discuss the proposals that they put forth last year. It had passed the Assembly, but the Senate didn't take it up. So they're going back to reintroduce allowing Native American pupils to wear tribal regalia at graduation and at school-sponsored events. And also AB 214, which allows for a lifetime license to teach a tribal language given certain conditions. So that it won't impact us as much, but I don't know if any of the Native Americans might want to wear their tribal regalia on graduation. And then this Act 95, the guaranteed admission, DPI announced that they're opening a waiver application for certain provision of the guaranteed admissions. And basically what is, right now pupils were ranked on their academic achievement. That would hurt those kids that are in competency-based grading or non-traditional GPA systems. So there's a waiver that schools can go through to submit so that students can still get that opportunity for the Act 95. And that's it.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we will keep moving. Board CISA report. Missy.
The Board of Control onboarding was held the same day as the CISA meeting, so because I was sworn in and went straight into the first CISA meeting, I missed that onboarding, so got to learn a lot about what CISA does. We went through the annual report really in a whole lot of detail so that we understand how they make their money, how they're applying for grants, and all the things that they're doing for the different districts. So it's always exciting to learn more about them. Due to the open records law, I did get a CISA 7 email address, so I don't think anyone really contacts me for any CISA 7 stuff, but now that's going to be their main way of contacting me instead of using my Algoma schools. So we went through some technology stuff and have another email address. I totally missed this, but on 8/23 at 8 a.m. they had a meeting at CISA with the the different chambers of commerce, the legislative team, and the youth apprentice team members They were really excited to bring people together to talk about all the opportunities we can give our high school students in that youth apprentice, because we are growing like mad in that area in CISA 7. And then they just commented that there was great attendance at the Mental Health Summit at Sheboygan Falls and at the Paraprofessional Summit at Luxembourg Casco. They do ask school districts to get involved and host those things, so they don't have to pay like a catering fee or anything like that. So they had really great attendance, and we're super excited with that. And then other than that, we did a lot of first policy reading for Head Start. And Shelley has that in here. So.
Okay. Questions for Chrissy? Moving on, we'll keep going. We have no student representative. I have no representatives. Nobody signed in. No one's here. And the only announcements I have is it's always thrilling to just show up at the first day of the staff orientation and just feel the energy in the auditorium. I mean, it's a good feeling. Everybody's, got some really good energy, and so that was fun this morning. Okay, moving on to administration reports.
All right. Good evening, everyone. For tonight, we're going to be looking at our district finances. We have a 10-year capital improvement plan that you received in your packet. We're looking at that. Update on our auxiliary gym floor. Update for you all in the community on referendum projects and the finances related to that. We'll do an update on our Safe Routes to School initiative. I'll talk a little bit about our staff in-service we had today. And then I'll close out with my wonderful trip out west through the Leadership Through High Adventure. So, we turn it over to Amber. She'll talk a little bit about the budget summary.
So we're 1 month in now officially. As of this meeting, they were almost 2 months in. But this is your 1 month report. 1 month of financing, we should be about 8.34%. It's going to be a little skewed for a school district because our revenues don't come in until a little bit later in the year. And we won't start with the payroll expenses for the teachers and the school year staff until September 15th. So we're a little low on the expense side and revenues, which is just fine. We're doing good. The main revenues we did receive in July were interest earnings, child care fees, and wellness center fees. So that's why the general fund is so low on the revenues. It's mainly just interest earnings at this point. And then the child care and wellness would be under the community services, and that's at 3.83%. We have in Fund 10 for this year, capital work or purchases that will come out of Fund 10. This is part of our budget that we will be officially adopting in October, but the preliminary was already adopted. And that was to refinish the floors in the elementary gym and some of the classrooms, and to replace some ride-on floor scrubbers. So we got one down at the elementary and one up here at the high school. And then the 2 old floor scrubbers we are going to keep. One of them will be repurposed for refinishing the auxiliary gym floor, and the other one will become a parts machine because it's getting harder and harder to get parts for those older machines. So, yes. So our other funds. Last year we had Fund 38 up here for non-referendum debt. That is now paid off, so we will not have a Fund 38 for this next year. Fund 39 is the referendum debt. Our revenues are very high already for this because we had some debt premiums that came in with the sale, and so that money gets deposited into Fund 39 to make those first debt payments. We will still levy for taxes, so we can keep that levy level throughout the entirety of the debt life, but it is fairly high at this point. So we will adjust that expectation on the budget side to match what we know will come in when we do the October budget. Our long-term capital improvement fund is going to have some activity in it this year. You do have before you tonight the capital improvement plan. We've talked about that a little bit more. And then I just wanted to list on the right side there, you'll see non-referendum projects and referendum projects, because we are doing some bigger projects with non-referendum dollars. So that's that Fund 46. Any projects that are done with the referendum dollars will come out of Fund 49. And we don't have a budget for Fund 49 yet because we were waiting for Bayland to give us some numbers. We got that, so when we pass the budget in October, then we'll start to see percentages down on that final line. So I know one of the things that we have planned for this year, and actually it's now complete, is the auxiliary gym floor. That was one of the big ones. We also, I believe is on your agenda for tonight, is the Hustler lawnmower replacement. The one we have is not doing great. They have nursed it and repaired it. And just last week, we were sitting in the office and you could hear this god-awful noise, and it was the lawnmower backfiring out on the lawn. So it's time for it to be replaced. So, next slide. So a little bit of history on your Fund 46. It was originally established in fiscal year 2014-2015 under the DPI's capital trust provisions. Part of the provisions is that you set up a 10-year capital improvement plan. That plan expired 23-24, so this past fiscal year. So we do need to update or adopt an updated one. This one will go from 24 to 2034, and we will update it regularly. My goal is annually. Something that's a little different than the previous plan. The previous plan only covered projects in Fund 46. It did not talk about any of the other capital projects that we are doing. During the referendum community meetings, that was something that was talked about, is what else are you doing? Aren't you doing any work? So the new plan will include the capital that we will be doing from all funds. So the plan that is before you tonight does have an estimated $235,000, almost $236,000 worth of capital projects for 24-25. And we will have to set aside an estimate of $225,000 per year to cover the remainder of the plan. So we have a good balance in that fund already, but we will have to keep putting money into it as we draw money out. So it will build that fund balance. When you get those quarterly reports, you're gonna see that graph go up, and then it's gonna have a big drop when we use that fund balance, and then it's gonna grow again. So that's the whole point of this fund.
All right, auxiliary gym floor. The work started on August 7th through Baseman Brothers. Prior to the install, we had our facility crew have to strip the wax off the floor. We needed to do it a few times actually to make sure that the glue was going to stick to the tiles. So after getting that done, it kind of put us back a couple days to be able to do that, but the install took about 3 weeks total, and we hope for it to be in use in the coming days. And I use that term loosely because they're pretty much done. They need to come back and put the volleyball pole, the covers on it yet. And we have to wait 30 days so we can put any hard equipment back onto the floor. So like our bleachers, our nets for shooting for basketball and all that. So we hope within the next couple days we'll be in there, right? So I know the volleyball team's anxious, but some pictures of what it looks like if you haven't seen it already. This is from the entrance from the wellness center taken. You can see it's kind of it's hard to see, but it's a gray material. It's got the wolf head in the middle of it. Originally, the yellow was a tan color, and we were not too pleased with it, so we went back and had them redo it in the yellow. So, the company was pretty good to work with, I have to say. They were pretty responsive to our needs, so we're excited to have this take place. We've been able to walk on it here and there, and it actually, you can feel the give it has with it. So,
is it what we expected?
Absolutely.
And it's not slippery.
Not slippery.
No better.
Where will like the formal dances be held? In this one or the other one? Or are we TBD yet to save the floors?
To be determined, I would say, on that one. But
Want me to put on that?
sure.
That's gonna depend on your student body. We can go either gym. So, we have done them in both. There's some advantages and disadvantages to it. So it really depends on what the kids want and what their advisors are willing to put up with.
So we won't damage new stuff, but if we do something with high heels or whatever.
This one's not
Glitter.
damageable.
Glitter would
This
always
one will
get-
take a lot more than the old one or the one with the wood floor. It's designed more for this kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
utility type thing.
I will say that Steve has been very good when we approach him about where we're gonna hold the dances. For example, we had prom in the Fullweiler field houses last year, and we approached him, do you want us to put down the mats? He said, doesn't matter, we're gonna refinish it on such a day. And so Steve's very good at communicating what we can and can't do.
Cool. Looks nice.
Is the logo facing the right way? Did we establish that?
It's facing my preferred way.
Facing out towards the wellness center.
It's
Looking forward, right?
Looking forward.
Talk about divisiveness in this country. We're trying to figure out which way the logo's supposed to go.
All right, getting into some referendum updates. So we entered into the AIA agreement, which is the American Institute for Architects agreement. I had to look that one up with Balin Builders. So we're kind of entering into the design phase right now. Based off of that, these are some important dates. So back last week, we received the written report from Balin. Consent to proceed is due back on the 30th. I actually sent it in today. By October 14th, we'll have some preliminary drawings completed, and then bids will be sent out on October 18th from Balin. Our submission for design build proposal, so a lot of those bids will be returned back on the November 8th. We are looking at doing a public information meeting during our November 25th board meeting, just as an update on the projects and where the bids all stand. So, in terms of actual projects, the timing of this has been slower than what I had hoped. That was kind of a surprise for me, I think, learning throughout this process, but it's been intentional because we're trying to combine as many of our projects into similar bid packages to save on the cost. If we went out and did bids for all of the different items that we listed in the referendum, the cost would be substantially more. So by combining them, we're able to reduce that cost a little bit, but you can see kind of how we grouped them together. Plumbing, standing alone, roofing alone, parking lot track replacement would be grouped together. All the work in the PAC would be grouped together. Safety upgrades would be grouped together. The playground resurface, that's a separate company that would come in and do that, so that's separate. And then all of the remodel here at the middle school and high school in terms of educational spaces, the window replacements, the restroom remodel, that's all going to be grouped together in one bid package. So, any questions about the projects so far?
Got some temporary plumbing fixes.
Yes, that's my next slide. Thank you, Barb. So we did move forward with some temporary fixes for plumbing at the elementary school that was done last week. We wanted to make sure that was in place before staff and students returned, so there should not be any leaking pipes or any odors that should be coming from those pipes this year. It is temporary, we know that, but it will get us through this year for right now. So, and then some projects that I'm talking with Balin, we're hoping that we can actually start maybe in spring of next year, even while kids are here, is some plumbing work at the elementary school, roof at the elementary school, the parking lot track replacement, and the work in the PAC. Those are items that, you know, kids aren't going to be necessarily around in those spaces, so we can actually have the construction companies come out and do that work while we have class in session. So, Amber's going to talk a little bit about some of the financials for referendum.
So this is gonna be an ongoing slide at every month, just to kind of keep everyone informed and transparency, let everyone know where the dollars are and how we're moving along. So we issued debt for $10,050,000. We did get a premium on that debt, so meaning the investors that bought those loans, or those they're called coupons, they gave us a little bit more money than what we were asking because the interest they earn on it is tax-free money, so they don't have to pay income taxes on it. So the investors tend to clamor for those tax-free debt issuances. So that extra money that we got, those debt premiums, are used to cover the debt issuance costs, like the rating fee from Standards & Poor's, the bond counsel fee, we had to pay all the attorneys to draw up all the legal documents, the bond insurance that helped us get that little bit extra interest rate on our bond rating. And then we also can use the leftover money for debt payments. So we had $100,271.56 in debt premiums that was deposited into Fund 39 that will help pay those annual debt payments. Our all-in true cost for this borrowing was 4.28%. So when it's all said and done, that's about what we're gonna pay. We currently have the money invested in a money market account and CDs through American Deposit Management. And so we are earning an average rate of return of 5.06%. The interest earnings in July on just the base amount of the bond of $10,050,000 was $22,803. That was 1 month's interest earnings. So it was really nice to see that number come in. American Deposit Management helps us invest our money and stay under the FDIC rules. So that just means if a bank were to go belly up, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation will fully reimburse us for our money. And so they take a fee when they place a CD. So they go out to banks all over the US and find who's got the best rates. And then their placement fee is 0.297%. So all the CDs that they place for us in July, we pay them $20,000. So we earn more interest than we paid out for those placements. They are estimating that we're going to earn about $415,000 on our money before all the projects are said and done and the dollars are fully spent. Those interest earnings can be used for cost overruns, additional projects that fall within the referendum language, or to make debt payments. So as we get closer to finishing up these projects, we can take a look and see, okay, did we have some cost overruns? If we didn't, what other projects fit within the scope of the referendum question? And then if we don't have any projects that fit that, we'll use it for debt payments.
I have a question. So the 415 interest earning, is that over the 10-year period?
No, that is over the next 2 years.
Just two, okay.
Yep, two to three, depending on how long the projects take.
That's what I was
Yep,
wondering.
so until that $10 million is fully spent.
Gotcha.
So there's another point to maybe having a benefit to having the projects not start yet. We're earning some interest.
Because are
off
there any
of it.
projects that could be postponed another 2 years?
Right. We have to have the 3 years the limit
3
that we
years,
can, but
we have to spend money within 3 years.
Okay, then one more year.
Some of them may drag out that long.
it is possible, yeah.
Mhm.
And the
Kind of how
contract-
all of that building stuff works.
Supply chain,
They
yep.
drag out long enough.
So the contract's 50% upfront and 50% after project's completed, or?
No,
Depends on the
we'll,
contract.
once we get the bids in and we do contracts for the projects, we'll determine it, but it's typically, they'll, bill you as they go for a time, for a portion that's already completed, and you withhold what's called retainage. So you retain a portion, usually around 5%, and you sit on that until the project is fully completed and the punch list is done, and we accept the project as fully completed, and then we release the retainage. So that, all that retainage is to make sure the contractor does what they're supposed to do.
You can hold back.
Mhm.
Looking good.
So you'll see this slide every month now, but it won't have all that, it'll be just that little box there with the, what our beginning balance is, what our interest is, and what our expenses were.
It's a good slide to see every month.
Yep. Helps keep the community informed on where we're at on these projects, so.
Where does that go so the community can see it? Just in our minutes?
Do we
Is it on the website?
We could put it on the referendum.
Could
page.
you build something in there so they can watch how the money is growing and everything, a little?
Absolutely, yeah.
Get
We do have a
that.
referendum page on the website,
Challenge
so
accepted.
it just would
I will see
update.
what I can do. Kind of fun.
It'll be all right.
A little thermometer of here's the money.
She's gonna be
going.
calling Troy first thing tomorrow morning. I know.
And that might be a good reference for us if we're ever asked questions in the
Absolutely.
We
community.
can go to
You
the
know, just
referendum page.
Go check the website out.
Yep. We'll take a look and see what we can do.
Good idea.
Right, jumping to our Safe Routes to School project. So again, this is the grant that we received from Department of Transportation to look at safety during arrival and dismissal times at our buildings. The grant we received was over $20,000. The district needed to match 20% of that, which is an additional $5,207. So in total, about $26,000, I think it comes out to. So we've contracted with Bay Lake Regional Planning Commission for this to be completed. They'll be coming out and doing a traffic study They'll be coming out middle of September to look at our arrival and dismissals. There's going to be 4 people out in vests that are going to be monitoring and recording how many cars go by and their speeds and everything. So note to the public, if you see any strange people during those days, it is okay. They will have badges and vests on. So, but the committee met for the first time in August and is made up of a parent, our transportation manager, and several staff members. And we really looked at setting some goals of what we wanted to accomplish in this year-long project. So final report will be done in June of 25, and we will present that to the board then. So.
Is your parent a walker, a driver, a transportation? Or none?
I don't know, I'm gonna ask Chris, because it's his wife.
Oh, how's your kid get to school?
Driver.
Okay, parent pickup.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Is there a timeline when that money has to be utilized, since the study won't be done or the report won't be done?
Yeah, so we have to do quarterly updates to the DOT and how we're spending it. So we did receive a bill from Bay Lake already for the work that they've done. It was like $300 and some. So we'll submit that annually or quarterly to DOT, and then they'll reimburse us.
I think we have 3 years to spend the funds, so it'll be done long before the deadline.
Yeah, we're already 1 year out though, because we got the grant a year ago. So I think we've got 2 years left. So.
I know the date that it had to be spent, I was way on the ball. We'll be fine.
And it's both schools?
Both schools, yep. So we'll be looking closely at the elementary school in the front on Fremont and on 6th. We'll be looking at the bus drop-offs. We'll be looking at the crosswalks on kids that walk or bike to school.
Kind of everything, like even out into the community even further, just the extended reach of where our kids go after they leave our buildings.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, even looking at our bus hubs for our city routes, they'll be looking at those and making sure that those are placed in the correct spots. Here at the middle school and high school, one of the things that we really want to look at is the front entrance into the parking lot, because you have that traffic jam where you've got cars coming out from the wellness center area, but you've also got people coming in that are trying to turn in front of the building to go to the visitors or the front entrance. So trying to look at closely with that. And the timing of this is perfect with the redoing of the parking lot. So
Are they following the buses around too?
they're not going to follow the buses, no. No, they'll just get input from the drivers and from Tracy.
Are we gonna follow the buses around?
Are we going to?
Well, like our discussion that we had before about safely turning around and stuff?
Yes.
And that was supposed to be part of this?
Yes.
Same
That
thing
would
with
be
the
something that we
drop
would
off with the vans
take a look
downtown?
at. Yeah. We would do that in-house.
Cause I thought that was all part of this.
That was not part of this part. They look at the routes itself, but not the actual turnaround pieces, I think of it. So,
Okay.
but the one situation I think you're referring to, we did address that and spoke with that family already. So. All right, so moving on to our staff in service, we welcome staff back today. We had about 120 staff members in total. We kicked off this morning with a 2-hour in-service training, and we did our Title IX video. That was so much fun to watch. And then we did our staff cooking challenge, which was new to us, and it was a hit. So staff got into groups of 5 or 6. They were given a course, I guess, to prepare. A food category. Desserts, appetizers, salads, refreshments. Yeah,
I must have missed the invite.
And then they had 2 hours to go to the grocery store.
Oh, wow.
They had a budget that they had to use. They had to purchase the food, come back, prepare it, and have it ready for 12 o'clock for lunch.
That
And
is
so,
great.
and then we did a little competition. We voted to see what was the favorite meals.
What was it?
The top one was like a bacon mac and cheese. And then the second place was pinwheels, those like dessert Rice Krispie treats with the chocolate in the middle. And then third place was Snickers apple salad.
Wow.
We had all different kinds of things. We had potato bar, mashed potato bar, or baked potato bar. We had someone make corn on the cob. We had a bunch of mocktails, so like Bloody Marys and like Mai Tais, and it was really fun. Yes, lots of dips, lots of,
How do you hit the people who missed Title IX or weren't here?
We have to keep track of who, we had them all sign in, and then we will do a running list. There are quite a few that do need to do the Title IX. As a board, you will need to do it as well, so.
We need to do it as well, so it's a 45-minute video, and we will have to discuss how we want to get that,
Yeah.
but it is a requirement.
Your house, one.
I should have stuck
Yeah,
around
is it
today.
by the
As soon as
end of the
possible.
year, ASAP, okay. Maybe we can try and fit it in before a meeting or something, make it easy that way. But we'll talk about that.
All right, close things out. Just a recap on trip out west through our Leadership Through High Adventure course. Barbara asked that I share a little bit out on this. So it was a great trip. I have to say it was a life-changing experience, really was for me. I felt like I challenged myself in ways that I didn't know I could. It was definitely an experience driving 3,500 miles round trip. 32 students, incoming seniors attended, and we had 6 staff members total. So you can see this is, we all had, staff members had their own vans, and this is me driving, and you can see the kids slept basically the whole entire way. So, so you were at times just left on your own driving and listening to the music. So trying to keep your eyes open. We slept in tents for 10 nights. Students paired up in groups of 2 or 3. Staff members had their own tents, but you get to the place, you set up your tent, you wake up, sleep, you wake up in the morning, you take your tent down, and you go on to the next place. So 10 nights of sleeping on the ground. We had some really actually delicious meals that were prepared and cooked by all of our students. They're all assigned different jobs or tasks every day. One of the groups is in charge of cooking and preparing all the meals. So hats off to all our kids for great work, and to Mr. Nelson for preparing and making sure we had all the food. So we climbed a mountain, Mount Washburn. So these are my hiking partners, Brooke and Nora. Kudos to them because they kept pushing me. So we also did a hike, a 7.7 mile hike around Jenny Lake, which is at the base of the Grand Teton Mountains. We did have another hike scheduled that we had to cancel because it rained the night before, and it was too dangerous. It was slippery, so that was unfortunate, but saw some beautiful scenery. First picture you see there is the Badlands in South Dakota. Kids actually got out and were able to go walk across these. The next picture you see is our campground in the Grand Tetons, right along the lake there. So kids got to go fishing. They loved it. Artisan Point is that waterfall. We got up early one morning for the sunrise and got to see it kind of come up and shine down on those glacier mountains. It was probably the highlight of the trip for me, was seeing that. It was just beautiful. Then the next picture you see is the Grand Tetons. That was from our hike around the lake. So we did see 2 bears. I did not personally, but the group did. We saw lots of other animals that I'll cover in a little bit here, but we did whitewater rafting along the Snake River. So this was in Jackson, Wyoming. Lots of wildlife, lots of bison we saw.
You're missing a slide. Yeah, you're missing a slide.
No, I left that one out for a reason. Nice try.
Now I'm curious, I want to see the slide.
Yeah, we don't need to go there. So, lots of bison, like I said. We had some bison walk across the road in front of us while we were in the van, so that was pretty neat to see, crossing from one side to the other. We saw some wild horses, so. But by far the best part of the trip was just being with the students and building relationships with them. So this was our group photo that gets framed and put up for years to come. So just an amazing group of kids, and I look forward to seeing them throughout the year and building that relationship connection with them. So.
And it's my understanding that they rotate through different van experiences, so they're not with the same kids.
That's correct, yep. So every morning they pick chips and they decide who they're going to be riding with. So.
Yeah, I love that, because they get to know each other too, kids that are so.
How big is your incoming senior class? If 32 went, 8 didn't go, or?
Don't remember. I had that number this morning too, and I forgot. I want to say there was 12 kids that didn't go this year.
Is that by choice? Is it grade based? Is it?
Nope, by
financial?
choice. All by choice. The only financial cost to the students for this trip is if they want to go whitewater rafting. It's $165, I think, for them to go. Otherwise, everything else is covered by the district. We run it as a summer school course program, so it's reimbursable through DPI for the hours and everything. So.
Yeah, great opportunity. I think it's life-changing for a lot of the kids.
Even not having technology for how many days is
Yeah,
so good
that's-
for
Yes,
them. It's so
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Heard about that for the first 3-4 days, and then it kind of just dropped off, and it's like, oh, I can live without my phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's excellent.
Would you go again?
absolutely, absolutely. I'm actually thinking about maybe going on taking a vacation next summer out there. But Mr. Robertson's going to go next year. We're scheduled to go.
10 nights in a tent would be my problem.
Air mattress or?
No air mattress.
They
No
just
air mattress. A little foam roll about that big.
Yeah.
32 students that are ready for the military now.
Right.
Start recruiting.
Thank you, Jesse. I think, it's really important that we show some of the really cool things that we do in this district.
All right.
All right, elementary principals report.
All right, we are back. We are definitely looking forward to having all of our students back into the building. We like it busy and energetic and just having everybody around. Just a quick note to you and then also to any of our families. Last week, I sent out an email to all of our families just with back to school information, logistics with pickup, drop off, picture day, some of those little things. The biggest change that I wanted to mention is just a small adjustment for those students who are not taking the bus, but they're walking or they're getting dropped off in the morning for breakfast. Our doors open at 7:30 for breakfast. Last year, when we had kids back in the building for breakfast, we opened the doors, the 3 main entrance doors, the 3 main entering doors. But this year, we are just gonna have kids who are having breakfast use the main entrance. So everyone will funnel through that entrance. We just wanted to do that for supervision purposes. We usually get a bigger rush at about 7:30 of kids wanting to come in for breakfast, and then they do trickle in from about 7:30 to 7:45. So being able to have one staff member dedicated out there to be able to have the kids and encourage the kids to come in will be really helpful. So that will be the biggest change.
Katie, can I add also too,
Yeah.
not to interrupt, sorry, but breakfast is free to any students in our district. So whether you're middle school, high school, elementary, it is free to anyone. So
How many kids participate in that on average?
I'd say about 100, give or take. Kind of depends on what's on the menu, and that's at the elementary, so I'm not sure here what that looks like.
High school's about the same. It's
About the
right
same.
around 100.
Yeah,
Oh, it's quite a few.
yeah, that's a good amount, I think, so. And then just a reminder for our elementary families to complete the online registration forms, and sign up for transportation if needed. We do have open house this week, so on Wednesday, we have open house for our 4K and kindergarten classrooms. Those are individually scheduled with families, just to give that one-on-one time with the teacher and the family. And then everybody else, so 1st through 6th grade, as well as Little Stars, they have open house on Thursday from 3 to 6, and that's just drop-in style, no appointment necessary. And then lastly, I just wanted to give an update on something that is gonna be a huge initiative for us this year. We're gonna be working on it as elementary teachers, but we are gonna be starting the process of reviewing and adopting a new literacy curriculum. So that covers all of the different components of literacy, from phonemic awareness to phonics to spelling to grammar, and then to the reading portion and writing. So on August 7th, we kicked that off with Charlotte Meyer. So we're gonna be working with Charlotte Meyer from CESA 7. She has it all mapped out for us. We had all staff on that day, and we spent the day just really looking at our core beliefs about literacy instruction as an elementary staff, and what are some big things that we wanna make sure we hit on when we are reviewing all of these different curriculums. An example of that I can give you is, our building is somewhat unique in the sense that we have 4K and we also have 6th grade, and a lot of curriculums are designed just for like a K-5 window. So we really want to try to see what we can find from curriculums that do offer a wider grade span, or we want to spend a lot of time researching that transition from, okay, 4K to kindergarten, what works well together, and then 5th grade to 6th grade, what works well together. So we spent a lot of time talking about that. And then the following day, the literacy team met for another full day of work with Charla. And from there, we took those core beliefs and we started matching it to what would that look like for literacy instruction. So an example that I can give you is something that is always a challenge is scheduling. So one thing that we want to make sure when we're looking at these curriculums is that they're realistic, you can finish them in a school year for a grade level, and that there's components that all fit together and you don't feel like you have to get rid of something in order to make room for it. So that's just one example. We had a whole big list, but we started to look at a couple different curriculums. We are focusing on the ones that are on the Joint Finance Committee approved list of curriculums. And then from here, our lit team will meet with Charla once a month. We'll also have a virtual meeting, all staff with Charla, also once a month, so we can update everybody. And then our goal is to have a decision as a staff by early spring as to which curriculum we want to go with. And then from there, we'll have a little time at the end of the year to maybe talk about a pilot, or I know the teachers will want to just jump right in and just test it out to see how the pieces fit together. But that's kind of the process, and I'll keep you updated as we go. I'm very excited to be working with CESA 7 and with Charla. She will be very helpful in just holding us accountable and keeping us organized and on track and focused on what we are set out to do.
So this is sort of in response to all the new legislation?
Yes.
And the timeframe, so obviously they don't expect it to be picked yet. So is this the year to choose
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we really want to take the time to
Yeah.
choose something that is really going to work for
Right,
us.
right, no,
Yeah.
I like the fact that you're
Yeah.
doing a very thought-through process to do it, okay.
What's your current curriculum? What are you
We
using?
use Lucy Hawkins.
That's what I was hoping you're getting rid of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
good.
that will be done after this
Excellent.
year.
Good. Yeah.
Well, do you have any opinion on that one?
No, not here.
All right, okay, we'll keep moving. Middle school, high school principal report, Dave.
Okay, so earlier this month, I attended the Rural Virtual Academy Coordinator Training. Rural Virtual Academy is a online platform that we partner with that provides services in a couple of ways. I know the Algoma Venture Academy uses them for some curriculum. We in the middle school, high school also use them to enhance what we have already in our course offerings. And then also our partnership allows students who want to be homeschooled through the Rural Virtual Academy remain in our school. And so there's a significant cost savings that comes with partnering with them rather than just losing homeschool students out of the district. So in order for us to partner with them, they require, well, we can do it without being trained, but when we do train, then they give us a $2,500 credit at the end of the year. So I went and did that training and also learned, it sounds to me also, ahead of myself here, but we also learned about how to become a level 2 partner, which then gives us a $5,000 credit. And it sounds like we're very close to that. In the next few weeks, I'll go over that with Mr. Brinkman. And there's just a few other little trainings I think we need to complete, and then we would be a level 2 partner with them. Just to give you an idea, they have a catalog of just hundreds of courses that our students can choose from. So if there's an offering that we don't have, say for example filmmaking, or there was one that was called Piracy on the High Seas. I mean, there's just these really interesting credits that we can't hire a teacher for, but then our students now have access to. So they do a lot of other things. They provide some professional development support and some other things. So went to that training and learned how to be a better partner with them. It was also interesting to network with other small schools. We're not the only small school who's trying to figure out how to do school in a way that gives our kids the greatest benefit, but don't have all of the resources in the whole world. So it was interesting to talk to other small schools, see what solutions they're using. I actually did refer a Spanish teaching service that I was checking out to another school, and I think they're actually going to use it. So it was interesting give and take between small rural schools and then also the Rural Virtual Academy. At the same place, next day, then I attended a restorative practices retreat. And I think that the restorative practices part is a little bit of a misnomer. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I had some preconceived ideas of what a restorative practice retreat might be like, and it wasn't actually like that. In actuality, we learned a lot about how to build relationships with students. They're really big on and I don't like gimmicky terms, but circling, doing circle work. But basically what it is, just getting getting in touch with your students where they're at, giving them an opportunity to check in with you, to see how they're doing that day. There's also techniques that you can then tweak to just engage your students in some learning, into some collaboration and some communication and things like that. So it was helpful. Probably the biggest takeaway I took was there's an online resource where an education service provides free check-in materials for teachers. So instead of them trying to dream of how am I going to check in creatively with my students today, it just generates it out. They can pick through pages of whatever they want to do. It's just plug and play, and it's free. So that's a resource I'll be sending out to our teachers. And it's not required to use, but if they want to use it, they can use it. And then finally, new teacher orientation. It has been a blast to get to know our new teachers. Like, I could not be more excited about the 3 new teachers that we have this year. We've got Haley Pavla coming back to us, one of our alumni, who's going to be completing her master's degree this winter. She's replacing Mike Cruz. She's excited to be back, and I just had a conversation with her today. She's like, I never thought I would ever come back to Algoma, and she said, but I'm so glad I am. She's really excited to be back here. And then Jeff Neuser, if you haven't met him, he is a little ball of fire. He's our agriculture technology teacher. He and I have been having a great time going out, meeting all kinds of people in the agriculture community. I'm really excited about that. And then Jacob Laurel is our new Spanish teacher, and we are also very excited to have him. So we had new teacher orientation, getting to know them. I'm really excited to see what kind of work that they do. I've never, sorry to previous years of teachers we've hired, but I've never been more excited than these 3. They are going to be awesome. So that's coming up. I'll give you a report on how they're doing.
Excellent. Okay, Pathfinder Venture Academy and Tech Hubs.
Yes, so for ADA, we we applied for an additional grant. So initially, when ABA opened, the grant that they got was supposed to be a 5-year grant. Last year, we were informed that the state was going to apply for another grant, which pushed our grant to 4 years. And due to that, they have more funds available than originally anticipated, I guess, with the new grant that they got coming in. It's confusing, but we applied for an additional $250,000, mostly for our new space that we're gonna have to redesign, as well as an outdoor space that we've been talking to Steve Schmeling to maybe partner with some of our kids and get an outdoor learning space going. So we found out that it got approved last week. So that's really exciting for us, especially like I said, we're moving and we're gonna need extra funds for that. So also, I didn't put it on there, but I realized that I didn't go over the performance measures for ADA from this year. So we have to submit performance measures to the state at the end of June every year. So we just have 3 things that we have to report on. So our first goal was for 75% of our kids to improve in reading, and how that's measured is just through our FastBridge assessments. These goals were made before ABA even opened, so I wasn't a part of that part, but they didn't really know what to expect with ABA opening. So currently Abby and I are working with Joan to make some different goals, but anyway, 75% of our goal is to improve. We had 68% improve, and we had more that we could show progress towards through the writing and their projects. Our math goal was for 90% of the students to finish their course with 85% proficiency. 91% of our students finished, and the 3 that didn't took summer school to finish their course. And then just a graduation rate of 100%, which we've had since ABA started. Like I said, these are goals that were set prior to ABA opening before we really knew what, I guess, ABA was going to look like and what the students were going to be like. So we're really trying to, with the grant, and these are for the grant specifically, so we have to report out because of the grant. So with the grant ending, we're just working with the board to see what kind of goals we can create that are more meaningful to us and that show actual student achievement. I don't really believe that one score at 1 minute at any time of day shows achievement, improvement, or non-improvement. So those were just our performance measures, and the state approved them, so we don't have any further action on those. And then for Pack of Pups, summer's rolling down, so when the kids go back, we'll have some openings in our infant room and 2-year-old and 3-year-old room.
Okay. Questions for Katie? Okay, move on. Special ed wellness report, Marie.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick update of how we're starting the school year for special education staff. After 10 years with our district, Ellen Mertens has announced her retirement. We're really happy for her. So she spent some more time with her grandkids, and I think she's gonna be picking up some hours at the bakery. Just got to see her this morning picking up the donuts and muffins for in service. That was really sweet. To fill her position, we found Liz Sawyer, who is not a new face. She actually helped out last year to fill a maternity leave for her professional, and was wonderful. So we're hoping to add her to our team. She recently had surgery, so she is not able to start until the beginning of October. So we are starting off a little short-staffed in that aspect, but we're excited to add her to the team. We have a new special education teacher, Mackenzie Rupiper, at the elementary school, and she comes to us with a psychology background and has some experience working with a neuropsychologist at Bellin Health. So she did a lot of testing with really, what did she say? Kids all the way down to 2 up to like adulthood with different behavioral struggles. So she is bringing a unique background, and I'm really excited and optimistic for her to have a role where she's doing some social emotional behavior focused work. With her being added to our elementary team, Logan Rankin is moving up to our middle school special ed vacancy. So she'll be working with 7th and 8th graders. And then Jenny Kovacs, one of our paraprofessionals that has been at the elementary school, she's actually going back to school to become a special ed teacher. And just to add to her experience and with the needs moving up to this building, she is going to give this building to her for this school year. So that's really exciting for her. She's excited for a new adventure. Aletta Young welcomed her baby girl in July. So she is going to be out for the beginning of the school year, but we have the wonderful Sarah Hines, Dave's sister, filling in for her maternity leave. So we are almost fully staffed to start the school year. We do have a few paraprofessionals out on leave. So we have a bunch of vacancies to start for the first month. So we'll be figuring out and getting creative that way, but I'm excited to start the new school year. And then for the wellness side of things, with the help of our insurance, M3 Insurance and Amber, we were able to create an updated version of our previous compare costs and just types of preventative care for our staff. It's a two-sided document. The first side of the document is just an infographic that shows our staff that take our insurance how to be mindful consumers, what their cost is if they were to go to urgent care versus the emergency room, but then also what that cost is to the district so that they're informed when getting the appropriate care, but then they also know that they are one person of the consortium. The other side is more preventative, more of our wellness committee initiatives so that they have links to different offerings that we provide from financial coaching from Nicolay Bank to some of the wellness challenges that we do and so on. We have our next wellness meeting tomorrow, so we'll be crafting up some fun ideas to start the school year.
Sounds good. Questions from Marie? All right, we will keep going. Glasgow Fall Region 3 meeting. This is the annual regional meeting that the boards have. It's always in Green Bay. It's always held at the same place, which is the Rock Art Comfort Suites. It's basically the business meeting for Region 3. I don't think we have any officers to elect this time, but they basically give the business of the region and updates legislatively, and it's a time where the different regions can have a nice meal and also maybe network a little bit with other school boards. It's also a nice place to sort of, show the pride in your own school in terms of showing up and showing support for Wisconsin Association for School Board. So it is going to be September 25th, which is a Wednesday this year. There's always a pre-dinner workshop. I think this year it's on open meetings, which is always a good one. I think that starts at 4 o'clock. So, and then I think the dinner might start at 6. Do you know, Jesse?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
And the program shortly after. The whole thing's done usually by 9, so they don't make it go too late. But anyway,
Are we planning, like, if anybody interested in going as a group or individually, or?
well,
You do that.
whenever we don't usually take a school vehicle to this, but anybody that knows they're going, or, if people that are going to the workshop, can coordinate with each other, yes, we usually do try and drive together if we can. Jesse, of course, because he lives closer to Green Bay, does not come back to the school, so we don't expect him to be involved with it. But anyway, it would be great if we can have good attendance at that. We, for years and years and years, had the entire board go. We're one of the few, frankly, that had the entire board go, but it makes a statement when you're filling your table with your board at one of these things, I think. So hopefully, if people have that evening available, we can all go together. So, given it's the same week as our next meeting, I think our September school board meeting is that Monday, this is that Wednesday. So, I'm not sure when we have to have our reservations in, I brought the brochure. I don't think there's like a early. Pre-registration is recommended. Refunds are allowed for cancellations received by the end of the day 1 week prior. So, if you think you can go, you let Jesse know, and then we can sort of coordinate with each other who's going, and if we have the ability to sort of share some vehicle space. I'm for sure going.
I am in Milwaukee Madison for the WASDA conference.
Yeah, this is actually a little earlier than they often do it in Region 3. Usually it's in October.
So they have it the same day that there's a conference?
Two separate organizations.
Yeah, I mean, this is really more school board
Yeah.
oriented. So, okay. And then, upcoming finance committee meeting. We are going to need to have something in September, probably would be best, later September. What do you think? When will you have information close, ready enough for a meeting?
The budget, I think, is pretty well ready. Honestly, I don't know when we'll have numbers from the state. So-
Well, but we have our finance committee meeting before we have the final numbers, because we understand that, because that'll be like the middle of October
Right.
when we get those, so it's gonna be,
So our October board meeting's a week prior. It's on the 21st, I believe, we've got scheduled. So if we could schedule a finance committee meeting like October 8th, 9th, 7th, maybe right around that time would work, I think.
Ninth is CISA, so assuming we have to do it after hours, right? You're on that one, right? During school hours works best for me, but I can work around it, just not CISA meeting night.
okay, so you're saying 7th, 8th, 9th?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Monday or Tuesday
Yeah,
after work,
Sure.
whatever.
You,
So, same time, you're probably. gonna-
Monday, 3:30.
Monday at 3:30, would that work? Okay, so the 7th.
Here, right? Boardroom or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
I don't think we scheduled a budget hearing either. I mean, we can do that next meeting, but.
Yes, we usually do that before the October meeting.
Okay, that takes care of that. We'll move right into action items. I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of July 15th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Jeremy, seconded by Chris Sly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the bills that were presented to you.
So moved.
Motion made by Amy,
Second.
seconded by Chris Benish. Any questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the capital projects plan as presented.
So moved.
Chris Sly,
I'll second.
seconded by, I think I did it, Lonnie. So Chris and Lonnie, questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, go ahead.
Some of these numbers, are they just a wild guess on the amount of dollars?
Yes.
I
The
kinda-
best we could,
I
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
much figured that, but
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
best we
year
can
one
do.
is pretty solid. Year two is fairly good. Once you get out past year two, it's just kind of throwing numbers.
I was
in
just looking at some of them going,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's gonna be correct.
there.
Can't do a whole lot else.
Further what we get.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the Panago bread bid.
So moved.
Motion made
I'll
by
second.
Bonnie, seconded by Jeremy. All in favor?
Right.
Opposed,
Can I have discussion on that? We didn't get a response on that one. The other bidder, do we have to get more? Is
We've
this-
known that, no.
Okay.
We've
That was
tried to
in
get
their
a
bylaw.
response, yeah.
There's not
A few
other
months ago.
suppliers and,
No.
okay.
A few months ago, this is actually very late to be moving.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna
yeah.
feed kids next week, right?
I need a motion to approve the Prairie Farms milk bid.
So moved.
Second.
Chrissy and Chris Benish. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the purchase of Hustler Super 104 lawnmower in the amount of $19,990 from Luxembourg Implement Company.
I have a question, I guess, before we get to that.
We need a motion, or a second, and then.
So moved.
Second?
Nope.
I'll second, so we
That's
can
what the
discuss. You
discussion
gotta
is
move
for.
and second.
You have to have a second before you can.
That's Robert's rules.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that you're indicating.
Correct.
So now we can talk about it.
So, yes, we have Chrissy and Amy, and yes, please, what's your
I
question?
think that should go back to the Buildings and Grounds Committee, looking through those bids first before we get to this point is my suggestion. Looking at the repairs or the 3 quotes that we had. I think it should be tabled till they get to look at it, I guess, more in depth than just this little bit that's here.
When you said 3 quotes, you're talking the repair quote, and the 2 purchase quotes.
Correct.
I would agree
There's
with
a-
that.
Big price difference on 2 quotes.
Yeah.
For one,
Yeah.
and for 2, if you take out the new seat, you're at a $2,000 repair bill. So I think there needs to be a little bit more
Which is general
discussion.
maintenance.
Yeah.
almost.
Well, it sounds like a committee,
I mean,
is all in
We're not
agreement.
looking at $5,000. We're looking at,
It's a price.
you're looking
tag.
at 20.
No, I think that's reasonable. Is there any disadvantage in terms of timing if we can get a committee meeting scheduled fairly soon in terms of this
No, I think the
purchase?
quote was good for 30 days. We can call and see if that will extend it out, so.
All right,
I guess I have one more, is that not running at all where we can't cut grass? Is there an alternative if that's the case until this gets?
No, it runs, but it can only run for so long, and then it, I think, overheats, and that's what's causing it to backfire, so,
Is there any other mowers, or is that an unsafe condition with a passenger?
they do have the pull behind, I think, with the tractor, so, yeah.
Don't they have that other one, 60-inch or whatever?
They have looked at it to give you that repair bill,
Correct,
so
yeah,
they know what's wrong with it.
correct. Luxembourg, yeah, they came out and looked at
If
it.
we can get that fixed in the meantime and run it,
Well,
and then
if-
decide what we're doing.
I guess part of that would be how urgent that is. I mean, how much money would be?
2,400 with our new seat.
Is the seat
okay,
a safety
then-
issue?
I don't think the seats, they didn't mention anything about the seat being a safety issue, right, Amber?
It doesn't, I'm only looking at the picture here, so that top picture is the
The
existing
one, there, it gives a breakdown of all the repairs.
Right,
The seat
but
doesn't
if
look
I'm
like a
looking
safety
at the
issue.
picture,
I
the
think-
seat doesn't
Give it
look
back.
that bad. Right, but I've not seen it in
I
person.
think-
That's what I'm wondering if
Yeah.
it's a safety issue, because a lot of them where you come off the seat, it disengages the machine.
Oh, the
Yeah.
safety switch,
So is that what the
Yeah.
problem with the seat is, that it still operates if it's not
Yeah.
sitting in?
I'm not sure.
If you
The
go
guy
safety switch.
came and asked about replacing it, and I made him get a quote for the repairs in addition to
I know that,
replacing,
because
so-
we've had one.
Obviously, it sounds like this could use some more discussion. So we had a motion and a second, but you would like to amend the motion to
Table it
table it
to Buildings and Grounds
to a
Committee.
future meeting, so that the Building and Grounds Committee can meet. So, let's see, who did we have?
Chrissy and Amy.
Okay, so the two of you okay with the amendment of tabling it? Amy and Chrissy?
Yes.
All right, and that is what we'll vote on. All in favor?
So, Barb, sorry, We got a motion or amendment, we got Chris who made the motion, do we need a second
I'll
then?
second it.
Oh,
For
I'm
that.
sorry.
So now we have to vote on that amendment, and we go
Yes.
back to the original.
Well, okay, so we are voting on the amendment right now. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then we are going back to the first, and basically, we are voting to table it. So all in favor? Till the
Are
next meeting.
voting not to endorse it,
Right,
so we would.
all in favor of that.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
No.
so we will need to set a building and grounds meeting, and I think that's
Chris and Chris and
Okay, Chris and you, so you guys will work that out
Set that, yep.
sometime fairly soon. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Approve the additional cost of $5,552 for the Algoma logo added to the auxiliary gym floor from Basement Brothers Inc.
I'll move.
Right?
Second.
I have one question on that. Is that the one that you showed in the picture?
That is correct.
Is that
So-
just because they had to redo it, or is that?
No, that was not included in the original bid, we didn't have the logo. So these funds are coming from that Fund 46, so that's what, we already approved the dollar amount for the initial to come out of the Fund 46. This is an additional
An
cost that
additional.
would come up from that fund as well.
Further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second for that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve private school transportation or parent contracts.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Amy, seconded by Chris Benish. Any questions or discussion on that?
Do we have an estimated cost? I didn't see that in the,
Sorry, do you have them with me here?
And it's parent contracts again this year?
Correct. We have,
Yeah, we're not doing
Correct,
that
yeah,
with
that's gonna be
transportation.
we
easier
have
on our.
4 separate ones. Of the 4, 3 of them were not returned last year by the family, so we're anticipating only one of them, so. But the cost would be, just wanna make sure I get the right family. About $1,399.41.
We are not going to put a dollar amount in this though, because you could get a response back from some of those other contracts.
They can deny it, exactly.
Sure.
So,
So basically, this is, we have a motion and a second to approve that we are, doing the contracts. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, I need a motion to approve the 24-25 school year employment compensation agreement with the Kewanee School District for library media special services.
So move.
Motion made by Jeremy, do I have a second? Second by Chrissy, question or discussion on that?
Make, new library person okay with that, or is this the high school person?
new librarian person, Braylon, on board, yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I did have one, are we profiting on that? Did we mark that up? Sorry, okay.
I need a motion to approve the Wednesday, November sixth, 2024 Veterans Day Concert and the Wednesday, May 14th, 2025 High School Spring Concert.
So
Motion made by Chris
Second.
Bennett, second by Lonnie.
I have a question on that as well. Is there a reason why that there's a board policy that we have to approve that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday activities, are designated for religious.
Okay.
And this week.
Okay. Makes sense.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any requests for future agenda items? All right, then I need a motion to go into executive session under Wisconsin statute 19.85 subsections 1 and C for the purpose of personnel matters, hiring, staffing, and resignation.
So moved.
Second.
by Chrissy, seconded by Jeremy, roll call vote, Jeremy.
Yes.
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 Chris.
Yes.
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 Yes.